Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is really laser focused. You've shared a fascinating source with us, an educational script.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not for, academic mastery or anything like that. It's designed for speed.
Exactly, for rapid foundational acquisition of English. Think of it as a linguistic crash course.
Right. And we're here to analyze the blueprint of this thing, to figure out how it gives you a whole communication toolkit with, well, the absolute minimum amount of vocabulary.
And that's a crucial distinction, isn't it? We aren't looking at a grammar book here.
No.
We're analyzing a framework for efficiency.
Yeah.
When you strip everything non-essential away from a language curriculum, what's left?
The minimum viable communication set.
That's it. This material gives us a really clear look into the choices they made to maximize utility and just, minimize the learner's cognitive load.
And the framework is incredibly disciplined. It immediately breaks learning down into 3 distinct blocks.
3 non-negotiable blocks.
Essential greetings,
Yeah.
then the core numbers, specifically just 1 through 10. And finally, those crucial daily routine sentences. The material calls it the Tagesablauf, the sequence of the day. Okay, let's unpack this. What specific vocabulary was prioritized right at the start, and why on earth did they keep it so brutally minimal?
Well, the focus is purely on immediacy, on social entry.
Okay.
I mean, if you can't greet someone, you can't even begin a conversation.
Right.
If you can't count, you can't transact or quantify anything. And if you can't describe your day, you can't build rapport or even answer basic questions. This curriculum doesn't teach you to write poetry.
No, it teaches you to survive a conversation.
Precisely.
So let's start with that first block, greetings. Part 1 is just the definition of efficiency. They bypass dozens of complex salutations and focus on just 4.
4 high-impact phrases for instant mastery.
At first I thought, isn't that too simplistic?
Yeah.
But the selection really does cover every essential social movement.
It absolutely does. It gives you the essential entry and exit points for any interaction.
So you need a phrase for initiation and a
Yeah.
phrase for conclusion.
Goodbye.
Okay. And the other 2?
They address crucial temporal context. Good morning and good evening.
I see the logic there.
Yeah.
But why is teaching the difference between morning and evening so important right out of the gate, especially when you're trying to cut down the word count?
That's a great question. It's because it forces the learner to recognize and use time context immediately.
Uh-huh.
By distinguishing morning from evening, you're implicitly teaching a concept that's, well, it's universally necessary, but it varies a lot between languages. It stops the beginner from just defaulting to one single, contextually wrong greeting all day long.
So if a high return investment in just a couple of extra words,
A very high return investment.
that makes perfect sense. And the methodology in the script for locking these 4 phrases down it's all built around this idea of Wiederholung.
Repetition.
Constant systematic cycling through just these 4 phrases.
That's right. When the source material calls for Wiederholung, it's establishing a principle. These aren't concepts to just understand.
Your tools.
They're tools to be wielded instantly. It's about creating verbal muscle memory.
So you don't have to pause and translate in a real social situation.
You just react. It's automatic.
Okay, so part 1 gives the learner social access through basically rapid-fire repetition.
Yeah.
Now we get to the second foundational block, quantification. Part 2, numbers 1 through 10. This feels like a bit of an arbitrary cutoff. Why stop at 10? Why not just teach them to count to 100?
And that's where you see the smart instructional design again. 10 is the critical threshold.
How so?
Well, yes, it aligns with our base 10 number system, but more importantly, it covers the vast majority of simple transactional needs.
Like counting money, giving a phone number.
Exactly. Giving a short list, setting a small appointment, quantifying a small group of objects. If we connect this to the bigger picture, teaching numbers beyond 10 introduces a lot more structural complexity.
You mean like teens, multiples of 10?
Right, all those compounding rules. By stopping at 10, they maximize utility while avoiding that heavy grammatical load.
What's fascinating here is, it's not just about counting, is it? It seems like a brilliant strategy for introducing tricky English phonetics.
Oh, absolutely. The phonetic load carried by just these 10 numbers is enormous. Think about what you're forced to practice. The vowel in 1 is irregular.
The "the" in 3.
The "the" in 3 is often one of the hardest sounds for non-native speakers. Then you've got the consonant cluster at the end of 6 or the silent letters in 8.
So by isolating these 10 numbers, you're making the learner tackle the most difficult English sounds right away.
Immediately and repeatedly. It's far more efficient than learning 100 simple words that all sound the same.
And the source material is really careful about not overwhelming the learner. It segments the teaching.
Yes, explicitly. The flow is broken into 2 digestible chunks. The first group is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, you drill that.
You drill that.
Right.
Then only after do you get the second group. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's classic cognitive load management.
It is. Most people can only comfortably handle about 5 to 7 new pieces of information in their short-term memory.
So by grouping 1 to 5 and 6 to 10,
They ensure the repetition stays focused and effective. It prevents saturation.
it's a mastery-based approach. Ensure success before you move on. Okay, so now the learner has social entry and transactional capability. But where do they actually use these tools? That brings us to mapping the day. Part 3, the daily routine.
And this is where the curriculum, I think, achieves its greatest efficiency.
Because it's about immediate application.
Right. Linking English phrases directly to common sequential actions, the Taschenblatt. The efficiency comes from learning full, simple sentences, not just isolated verbs.
Right. Why not just start with the verbs? Teach, wake, eat, go. Why mandate the full sentence structure from the get-go?
Because teaching full sentences forces the learner to internalize the core grammatical foundation of English.
The subject-verb relationship.
Instantly. When they learn I wake up, they're not just learning wake, they're learning the first person I with the simple present tense.
And that structure is immediately transferable.
It's completely transferable. Once you master I eat breakfast, you are instantly ready for I drink coffee, I read a book, I see a friend. You're building functional grammatical architecture organically.
So you don't need a separate, boring lesson on sentence structure.
Exactly. That structural transferability is the real shortcut here.
Let's break down their sequence of the day, because even the order seems designed for memory. They start with a very precise waking sequence.
They do. They separate the internal state, I wake up, from the physical action, I get up.
Which again seems a bit fussy, but there's a reason.
There is. It shows the learner that English requires precise verb usage. It's not just 2 words for the same thing. It's a nuanced separation of perception and action.
Okay, then they move straight into the morning commute. After I eat breakfast, they give you the necessary alternatives.
Yes, I go to work or I go to school. This is the curriculum addressing the learner's actual reality.
Not wasting time on irrelevant stuff.
No. They provide the vocabulary for the reason you're probably learning the language in the first place, a job or education.
Then the midday section is kept really tight. Just 3 core activities.
Absolutely. I work, I study, and the necessary refueling, I eat lunch. And notice the relentless focus on the first person singular.
The
I is the I form. By doing that, they temporarily eliminate the confusion of verb conjugations. He works, she works, all that.
Right. More cognitive load management.
The learner can focus solely on speaking accurately about their own actions.
And then it closes the loop with the evening routine.
They make sure you can narrate the end of your day. I go home, I eat dinner, and the final action, I go to sleep.
So the learner now has a complete usable narrative arc for their entire day.
A 24-hour cycle described in grammatically correct, simple English.
But wait a minute. If the script has 10 or 11 sentences for the daily routine, why does the final review exercise in the material only emphasize 4 sentences for repetition?
Which 4?
I wake up, I eat breakfast, I go to work, and I go to sleep. Why are the other ones suddenly less important for the review?
That is a brilliant observation. It reveals the core teaching philosophy here.
Which is?
Prioritization of the anchors. While you need to know all 10 sentences to describe your day in detail, those 4, wake up, eat, work, sleep, they represent the absolute major chronological milestones of modern life.
The narrative pillars.
They are the narrative pillars. By isolating those 4 for really rigorous repetition, the curriculum ensures that even if you forget the nuances like go home or get up.
You can still give a clear, high-level summary of your day to anyone who asks.
Exactly. It ensures the minimum communication requirement is always met.
That strategic focus is key. It prevents information overload and focuses your limited review time on pure utility.
Right. It's like the script is saying, if you forget everything else, these 4 facts about your day must be instantly available.
Okay, this brings us to the synthesis, part 4. It really is about connecting these three pillars into one functioning system.
hmm The curriculum shows that successful knowledge acquisition is about designing a highly efficient feedback loop.
How so?
Greetings give you social access,
Right.
numbers give you transactional capability,
Mhm.
and the daily routine gives you the narrative framework and, crucially, that grammatical structure. Together, they are a complete functional communication kit.
Built with maximum utility and minimum vocabulary.
That's the key.
So for our listener, the learner who wants clear structure and quick knowledge gain, analyzing this is so powerful. It shows that being well-informed isn't about collecting the most facts.
No, it's about mastering the most useful structures. This curriculum is the definition of linguistic minimalism.
It doesn't teach you everything about the world.
It just teaches you the essential tools to describe your world and interact within it. They've found the smallest necessary subset of knowledge that yields immediate competence.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, this principle of minimum viable communication is scalable, isn't it? This proves that real efficiency comes from identifying the structural anchors, the chronological sequence, the core transactions, the high-frequency grammar patterns.
And subjecting only those anchors to high-intensity, systematic repetition.
The powerful idea.
And I'd encourage you, listening, to reflect on this framework. We've just analyzed how an efficient language curriculum is built by defining the absolute must-know essentials. So here's a thought. What small foundational set of concepts, like these greetings and routines, could you define in your own professional field or an area of interest?
Your own Greetings 110 and daily routine.
Exactly. What's the set that would maximize your comprehension and your ability to speak intelligently about it, but with minimum effort? Find your own foundational set for mastery.
That minimum viable information set. It really is the shortcut to being truly well-informed. Thank you for diving deep into the architecture of essential knowledge with us today.
Goodbye.